Do you hang out with Sean Strickland? Can you hang out with Sean Strickland type of people? Oh, can you handle driving a McLaren Formula One? Can you handle that? Can you handle that? If you can't handle that, then you need to stick with a certain type of car, right? Same. Hi, it's Christophe Clugston, the Jedi Dog Master, as some of my students call me. And I'm here. We're going to look at why is Sean Strickland McLaren Formula One car and this dog, this guy, who is a Dutch Shepherd, actual KMPV, and I'll explain why KMPV, a lot of people claim it, but it's not accurate. So there's a lot of talk about these dogs right here, Dutch Shepherd. I've seen several videos. Why these dogs are the most horrible choice for you. Don't get these dogs. You don't know what you're doing if you get this sort of dog, because they're not as diluted as even a Malinois. Well, the KMPV ones are not. And so basically, Dutch Shepherd. What is a Dutch Shepherd? What is a Dutch Shepherd besides an incredible dog? This guy, Zarathustra, is the son of a legend in KMPV. Yeah, his dad is a legend. And he has a BRN number. And if they don't have a BRN number, they're not actually KMPV. And it's not a registry like the AKC. The BRN number proves that their parents have done performance and passed qualifying tests. It's not like, oh, he's a purebred. I don't care. Just like sled dogs, I don't care. I care about performance. And this guy is a super performance, and he's also just hanging out with me. Now, this is the most horrible dog because their drive is so high and they're so active. Yes, and that's what I'm going to get into. And people say these are the worst choices for people to get, is a Dutch Shepherd. Well, it really goes to who are you and what is your lifestyle. There are a lot of people who try to use livestock guarding dogs and bring them into urban settings, and they're completely the wrong dog. A lot of people don't understand that the majority of dogs, other than say my jungle dog, every dog was artificially bred by man to become something for the certain traits that they possess. For example, a bloodhound was bred so that he can track and trail really well. And a pointer was bred to obviously point out game birds, quail, for example. And this is something that when it's set in there, genetically has become hardwired. This is what the predominant behavior is going to be from the dog. So when you get a dog that is an Australian Shepherd or a cat or Australian cattle dog, etc., or a Kelpie, and oh, he's nipping at my kid's heels. Yeah, because that's what they were bred to do. It's how they move. How do you think they move livestock? And they're trying to herd your kids. That's a behavior. You cannot change that any more than you can change. Oh, my dog is brown, but I want my dog to be white. You can't do that. You're going to have the same thing. This is so locked in there and bred for that he's looking for his tug toy. Where'd it go? Where did it go, baby? And he's gonna. Yeah, I just got it. Oh, he's going to give me that. Oh, I don't know if you can see him here. Oh, it's horrible. You should never play tug with your dog. Yeah, you should, and they should win all the time if you want a dog like I'm talking about here. Look, you got to look at what the dog was artificially bred to do. And then people are picking dogs on their looks. Now, yeah, Dutch Shepherds are like Malinois, except better looking. Now, the quintessential Dutch Shepherd looks exactly like him, which is black with brindle. Brindle on the legs, and then brindle around the ears, and spread out, but not brindle so much on the body, the torso part, but on the hind legs and the forelegs. That is what this guy is. He's an incredibly great looking dog. He's an incredibly smart dog. This guy's the new Rin Tin Tin. Check out the videos of this guy on the channel. I don't just deal with these high tempo dogs. Yes, I was a tactical trainer, and if you don't know who I am, you can look on the channel to describe more, but I was trained by movie dog tactical trainers. And you can check that out on the podcast that I do with the last of the legendary Lassie trainers, Robert Weatherwax and I together. So Anyway, back to what's important here. So what does this have to do with the Formula One McLaren? A 15-year-old kid or a 16-year-old kid, or even most adults, they can't handle a Formula One car. They don't know how to drive it. They don't know what to do with it. You can't drive that car slowly. It doesn't go on the highways. It's made for a track situation. It excels at that. Won championships doing that. That is what some of these dogs, like the high tempo dogs, like the Dutch Shepherd, designed for. He's not designed for just hanging out, doing nothing. He's designed for action, big time action, and he wants to do big time action. And if your lifestyle doesn't fit that and you're not willing to commit to that, yeah, it's the wrong thing. If you're a unmarried mother with children, golden doodle, labradoodle, something along those lines. Little kids and these type of dogs do not mix. Little primate behavior, which is completely anti-canine behavior, don't mix. It's a recipe for disaster. Well, the primates should be learning about canine behavior. They tend not to. So if you don't want to learn about dogs, don't get this type of dog. Also, don't get a livestock guarding dog. Don't get an Anatolian and live inside the urban setting. And now the dog is so distant, yes, because they're not meant to bond with you. They're meant to bond with the livestock. They're independent thinkers. They live independently. They're out in the fields working on their own. They're not relying on you for directions and indication of what to do. They have their behavior that they're protecting the sheep or the goats or the cows, not you. That's what they are, and they're out in wide open spaces. They're not meant for urban living, but people, oh, I like the looks of them. That's the problem. Too many people like the looks of dogs and get a dog because of the looks and not about who the dog really is. You know, this is the way he looks, the way my Zarathustra looks is just added. I didn't get him because of the way he looked. I got him because of what he's capable of doing. It's his performance ability. Same thing with Alaskan Huskies for Iditarod or Yukon long distance sledding. There are no better dogs in the world. They are the zenith. No other mammal can do what they can do actually. And they all look different, but their performance is what matters. And as long as you stick with performance, you won't have genetic problems. Which is, all of this is tied together, and one of the reasons why, oh, you should never get this type of dogs. These are the worst type of dogs. They're not dependable. Their disposition, they'll snap on you. If you don't know what you're doing, then these are not the dogs for you any more than, hey, you little Chevy compact car driver. You can't handle a McLaren F1, all right? And what does this have to do with Sean Strickland? These dogs, like this guy, in certain instances will act like Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland can't get along with a lot of other people. He does not like dogs. He does not know at this stage. That's who he is. That's who he's supposed to be. He's a fighter, a tough guy. And how do you think he's a tough guy? By putting up with being submitted by everybody and their cousin? You think he's supposed to bow down and listen to vet techs and stuff like that? No. To do what he's bred to do, which is go to war. You think that that's the type of mentality they can handle that? No. So you got to know, and you got to know what you are doing with that type of dog. And if you don't have the experience on, you don't want to put the time in, the commitment, how well do you know dogs? What do you know about dogs? Because basically, this is probably not a video for people who are real experts, because this sort of thing is just taken for granted that you would know these things. But for the people who are beginners or intermediate, and they think, oh, I want to step up to this type of dog because he can do so much more. Yeah, he can do a 7-foot vertical. I have my puppy though, who is a mix. You can see him ace and some other things. I haven't used him much, but he can do almost a 7-foot vertical. He's really powerful for his size. He's much smaller than Zarathustra. But the point is, this guy is super athletic. If you're not ready for that, then what are you doing? If you're not living that type of lifestyle where that you're going to commit a lot of time with the dog, either you're a professional with dogs or it's your hobby, your main hobby, the hobby you do. I mean, yeah, there are people who get into sports with dogs, competition stuff like whatever, agility, IGP, all those things. They're very time consuming. You got to put a lot of training time in, and you're also going to spend a lot of money and not get much back out of it. But that's a personal decision for you. But for the people who are out there who are just dog owners, as it were, you got to think about what type of dog is going to work for you and how much you want to learn about dogs. If you don't want to know anything about dogs, if you don't understand about dogs, you don't understand the connection to wolves, to Euro-Asian wolves, as it were, not to North American wolves. You don't understand about that. You don't understand how wolves are and dogs are not the same, and trying to apply wolf behavior that was observed in captivity is not the way to look at dogs. And dogs, domesticated dogs, are the ones that have been artificially bred. I have a non-domesticated dog because dogs exist on their own. If you don't know this, you have a lot to learn. And that's what this channel is about, by the way, too. That's what the mentorships that I have are about. So I got to say to you, the people who are telling you, don't get a Dutch Shepherd, they're the worst type of dog. Well, it depends on your living conditions. The worst type of dog for you may be an Anatolian. It may be a Saint Bernard. They don't fit into every type of lifestyle. Doesn't fit into your situation. What is your situation? Are you a person that just goes to work, comes back, and you don't want to deal with the dog? You want more of a furniture than you want a living dog that you interact with a lot? Then you have to look at the dog for you, because there's so many dogs that are going to be wrong for that. You can't handle a greyhound, you can't handle a Saluki or a Borzoi. Those dogs need to sprint at least once a day, and then they're fine. But they need that sprint, and you're not gonna. Zarathustra moved the video camera. If you're not ready for that, and you can't handle that, then they're the worst type of dog for you. So it's not like, oh, this dog is the worst dog. The Dutch Shepherd is the worst dog. No, it depends on what you do, what you're living, what is your situation, how much time you're going to spend with the dog. Now, that gets into bonding, that gets into having a fluent canine, all of these things that we cover on this channel, and especially in the podcast and such. These are things you need to know. But for right, so keep that in mind. It's not about the dog, it's about the entire fit and you. It's more about you. Who the hell are you? Watch our podcast, by the way. And so I've got some other dogs that want to break out and do some stuff right now, so I got to go take care of them. So